Hey guys, Kyle the Death Knight of Enemy here, bringing you my late night review of Eden Zero, Chapter 115. So, right out of the gate, I'm not gonna lie, this chapter already has me completely split on Mora. Cause on one hand, this chapter showed me he's much more of a capable fighter than even I initially gave him credit for. From just how he's giving Shiki the works, and like despite Shiki like pulling his best stuff, well, pretty much like putting his best effort into defeating Mora. Nothing Mora seems to have a counter for Shiki at every turn. So in that sense, he's giving Shiki the works much more than I ever expected. On the other hand, though, just in this single chapter, Mora has already thoroughly annoyed the fuck out of me. Like, I don't know if that's just me, but the character in himself is just so goddamn annoying. Like, again, he is a very capable fighter, and I recognize that. But on a personality level, the dude just annoys me. And it's not even and it's not even like a bit. And honestly, just in this chapter, it's not even like a pretty much the kind of annoyance that I find intimidating. Intimidating, like how I initially thought of him, but just but for me, it's just a regular old. Can someone please thoroughly beat this guy to an inch of his life so he can shut the fuck up kind of annoyance. Like every time this dude opens his mouth, he annoys the ever living shit out of me, and I don't know why. But this chapter really but Mora in this chapter really kind of fucking annoyed me. I don't know why, but he did. Um, yeah, or I don't know. It's just yeah, Mora like Shiki, can you please go ahead and just can you just please go ahead and pretty much like punch this guy out already so he can't speak anymore, please? Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Mora. On the other hand, though, with the other members of the commando unit showing up, I think depending on how they get involved, I think they will alleviate a lot of the annoyance I'm feeling towards Mora right now. So yeah, I think on one hand the whole fight between Mora and Shiki, Mora was definitely annoying, but I think with the arrival of the other commando units now, of the other members of this commando unit, it should be more. I feel like pretty much Mora won't be as annoying anymore, and I think that is actually part of what made Mora annoying to me is that it was just so strictly it was just so strictly focused on him. I think for a good first chunk of this chapter, but with the others throwing themselves in, I think this will kind of alleviate a little bit of that annoyance for me. Um, Having said that, though, when the other members of the commando unit show up, they identify Shiki with the identification code of Demon King. Then Orc, one of the members of Poseidon Nero's commando unit, basically mentions offhand that one of their comrades, Shura, is like Shiki. Now, that is definitely where I go into overthinking mode, but with this whole identification thing being thrown into play with this chapter, I'm led to believe right now that there's more than one. That there's more than one like categorization for Demon King now, and from what I can glean from the name Shura, whoever that is, I have to believe that the way that Mashima is handling this and the way who this person is, whatever his power is, it is in some way or another going to be going to be influenced or linked to the demon Ashura, whether directly or indirectly. Whether it's going to be like a thing of influence, or he actually has like powers similar to that of Ashura. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Again, I could very much be overthinking it, but with more than one like demon identification code now, this kind of opens up the possibilities, and it raises a bunch of other questions. For instance, what kind if there are more than one person out there with the identification of Demon King, then then what kind of demon king is Shiki exactly? Because and honestly, in turn, honestly, I don't know what the case is here with this, but I can only assume from here we're gonna get even more exploration on Shiki's powers, which again I'm all for. One thing I think that this whole identification code Demon King thing definitely opens up is definitely more exploration on Shiki's powers. That's the one thing I think we can take away from it though, which I'm all here for. I'm definitely for this. And maybe it'll be interesting to see how he can maybe make that power stronger. I don't know. Um, all that aside, though, we get a huge reveal in this chapter, which is that apparently, according to Hermit, whatever infected the robots of Foresta is still active and could turn the Starshines against Shiki and the others as well. Now, with a little bit of new information we got from this, leads me to the natural conclusion that whatever's going on is definitely man-made. And from there's really two options I see of what we're dealing with. If this is still a virus, it's something that's maybe tied to from just the planet itself in some way, and possibly something that's airborne. But if it's not a virus, then that leads me to believe what's actually turned the robots into Mavericks is something more like a a beacon or an electrical signal that's reformatted their programming. And to me, that would honestly make more sense in the context of Hermit saying it will corrupt them now. The only question is, if it is more a beacon we're dealing with, then where is it? Because it would have to be in close proximity to both the Eden Zero crew and the planet to achieve this. And this planet, like it would have to be on the planet, but at a very high vantage point in order for this to be the in order for this to even be the case. Like there's definitely something more going on here, but I think there is definitely something like it's all about find it's all now for right now it's all about finding what exactly is gonna cause this because and honestly I kind of like I like how the fact that we're kind of on this time crunch now because it really puts and I honestly really like this time crunch we're on right now of it possibly infecting the Starshines because now it really puts like Hermit to the test and I think we're gonna see just how powerful her hacking abilities actually are. Like that's the one thing I glean from this. Honestly, is that what Prince ever is doing this to the robots and is going to do this to the Starshines. It really puts Hermit once again in the forefront, and I'm really liking this. Like Hermit, like of all the Starshines, Hermit is my favorite, and I'm loving I'm loving the spotlight on her. Now, I do recognize that unfortunately does kind of put the others on a bit of back burner. I do hope we eventually do get more like personal moments with them, but yeah, right now I'm loving this. I'm loving this thing with Hermit right now, and the setup for her is great. I think. Um, Aside from that, we also get a scene of pretty much everyone on the Eden Zero engaging the drones. In my personal favorite like battle scenario, an aerial flight battle. And I love battle scenarios like this because they are just so dynamic, and throwing both Jin and Laguna into the mix just makes it all the better somehow. Which, on that note, if there's one thing I definitely have to give this chapter overall is that while pretty much while Mashima's fight choreography has always been fun to read, there's something about this arc in particular where it feels like he's actually making the fight sequences even more dynamic than in any other arcs prior. Like, and mainly I think it's just from the fact that I think it's mainly just from the fact that we're not just facing one enemy at this time and Mashima is just throwing a bunch of different obstacles and enemies at our heroes at once and from multiple angles, which again just by doing that one simple thing it creates such an interesting dynamic and an interesting battle scenarios. So yeah, I'm really so yeah like even more than my favorite arc, Belial Gore. I feel that but yeah, overall, I feel the fight choreography and dynamics in this arc have been really stepped up. Honestly, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but that's how I feel. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and also Crunchyroll. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.